"I need you to stay after class, Marcus." Those 6 words changed everything. My heart stopped. My professor, Dr. Elena Castellanos, had just caught me red-handed with the leaked exam answers on my phone. I was about to be expelled, my scholarship revoked, my entire future destroyed. But what happened next in her office that night? No one could have predicted it. Not her. Not me. And definitely not the university administration who reviewed the security footage 3 weeks later. This is that story. And I promise you it's not what you think. I made out with my professor so she'd let me go. Let me take you back to where this all started. Spring semester, senior year at Westfield University. I was 22, 3 months from graduation, and absolutely drowning. My father had just been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. My mother was working double shifts to pay for his treatment. And me. I was trying to maintain a 3.8 GPA to keep my full-ride academic scholarship while sending money home every week from my 2 part-time jobs. I wasn't sleeping. I was barely eating. And I was failing advanced molecular biology, the one class I needed to graduate, the one class standing between me and my acceptance to medical school. Dr. Elena Castellanos was a legend at Westfield. 34 years old, tenured at 32, published in Nature 3 times. She was brilliant, demanding, and absolutely terrifying. She had a reputation for failing more students than any other professor in the sciences. People called her the Terminator behind her back. The midterm was worth 40% of our grade. I studied for weeks, but the night before the exam I got the call. Dad had collapsed. Mom was hysterical. I spent the entire night in the emergency room, watching my father fight for breath, holding my mother while she cried. I showed up to that exam on 2 hours of sleep and pure desperation. I sat down, looked at the first question, and my mind went completely blank. Panic set in. I could see my scholarship evaporating, my medical school acceptance letter being rescinded, my entire life imploding. That's when I made the worst decision of my life. My roommate, Tyler, had somehow gotten a copy of the exam 2 days earlier. He'd sent it to our group chat as a joke, saying, "Good luck cheating with Castellanos, watching like a hawk." I'd ignored it then. But sitting in that exam room, drowning, I pulled out my phone under the desk. Dr. Castellanos was on me in seconds. "Phone. And come with me." The walk to her office felt like a death march. Other students stared. Everyone knew what getting pulled from an exam meant. I was done. Finished. My entire future, everything my parents had sacrificed for, gone because of one moment of weakness. Her office was on the 4th floor of the science building. Small, cramped, filled with textbooks and research papers. She closed the door behind us, and for the first time, I saw her without the armor of the classroom. She looked exhausted. "Sit," she said, but her voice wasn't angry. It was tired. "Sap." She pulled up my phone, saw the exam answers clearly displayed, and set it down on her desk between us. The evidence was undeniable. "Do you know what I have to do now?" she asked. "Report me," I whispered. "Academic dishonesty. Expulsion." She nodded slowly, then did something unexpected. She sat down across from me, not behind her desk, but in the chair next to mine. "Close. Too close." "Tell me why," she said. "And don't lie to me, Marcus. I've heard every excuse students can invent." So I told her. Everything. About my dad, my mom, the hospital, the sleepless nights, the jobs, the pressure. I didn't cry, I didn't beg. I just laid out the truth plain and simple. I'd made a terrible choice, and I was ready to face the consequences. She was quiet for a long time. Then she said something that shocked me. "My mother died of pancreatic cancer when I was in graduate school. I know exactly what you're going through." I looked up at her, then really looked at her. And I saw something I'd never seen before. She wasn't the Terminator. She was just a person who'd been where I was, who understood the impossible weight of watching someone you love dying while you're supposed to be focused on exams and grades and futures. "I should report you," she said quietly. "By every rule, every regulation, I should end your academic career right now." "I know," I said. "But I'm not going to." My heart stopped. "What?" You're going to retake the exam tomorrow in my office. Clean slate. And we're never going to speak of this again. Do you understand? I couldn't breathe. Dr. Castellanos, Why would you do this? She stood up, turned away from me, her hand on the edge of her desk. Because someone gave me a second chance once. Because I know you're not a cheater, Marcus. You're a scared kid watching his father die. And you made one mistake in a moment of desperation. I stood up too, moved closer to her without thinking. Thank you, I said, and my voice cracked. I don't know how to thank you. She turned back to face me, and we were inches apart now. I could see tears in her eyes, the same tears that were in mine. And then, in that moment of shared grief, shared understanding, shared humanity, something shifted. I don't know who moved first. Maybe it was both of us. But suddenly we were kissing, and it wasn't romantic or calculated or anything other than two broken people finding comfort in each other for just a moment. It lasted maybe 10 seconds, maybe less. Then she pulled back, eyes wide, hand over her mouth. Oh my God, she whispered. You need to leave. Now. Left. I retook the exam the next day and passed. Dr. Castellanos and I never spoke about that night again, maintaining strictly professional interactions for the rest of the semester. I graduated, went to medical school, and she continued her groundbreaking research. But here's the part that makes this story matter. 3 weeks after that night, Dr. Castellanos turned herself in to the University Ethics Board. She reported the entire incident, including letting me retake the exam and yes, what happened between us. She said she couldn't live with the ethical violation, regardless of the consequences. She was suspended without pay for 6 months. Her reputation took a massive hit. And when the story leaked to the campus newspaper, people assumed the worst. They thought I'd manipulated her, seduced her, used her attraction to get out of trouble. But that's not what happened. What happened was two human beings, both drowning in different ways, found each other for one brief moment. It was inappropriate, yes. It violated professional boundaries, absolutely. But it wasn't calculated. It wasn't manipulation. It was just human. My father passed away 2 months after graduation. Dr. Castellanos sent flowers to the funeral with a card that read, "He raised an honorable son. I'm a resident now, working 70-hour weeks, fighting to save lives the way I couldn't save my dad's." And I learned something from that night in Dr. Castellanos' office that no textbook could teach me. Sometimes the right thing and the ethical thing aren't the same thing. Sometimes mercy matters more than rules. And sometimes people are just trying their best in impossible situations. Was what we did wrong? Professionally, objectively, yes. Would I change it? I honestly don't know. Because that moment of human connection, that understanding between two people who were both suffering, it saved me. Not from expulsion. From giving up entirely. Dr. Castellanos is still teaching at Westfield. Still terrifying students. Still brilliant. And I'd bet everything that she's still showing mercy to students who deserve a second chance. Even when the rules say she shouldn't. Because that's what makes someone not just a good teacher but a good human being. Thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.